We recently entered what's called peak hot dog season.
Good morning, sweet world, and welcome to the No Dunks podcast on the Athletic Network. It's Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. Congratulations to the Beantown boys. I'm J.E. Skeeth here in the Classic Factory, and alongside me, as always, Tass Mellis.
Podcast listeners, this is for you.
Next to him, it's the bearded one, my top shot hot boy, Trey Kirby.
Ayo.
Ayo. And last but not least, making the magic happen, super producer JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. Shout out to everyone joining us live on YouTube, and hello to all the podcast listeners. Leave your boys a 5-star rating and review. We're going to break down Game 5 of the NBA Finals, put the Celtics winning their 18th banner sort of in historical context with their season, how great they played. But before all that, we got a new shirt. It's a new shirt alert because we are celebrating a record-breaking 63 Wedgies this season. It was nice to be reminded of them when we got one in the NBA Finals. Had to rip up the shirt that we had and add another little tick.
Yeah, we're going to add a tick to this t-shirt if you're seeing it here. That's the 62 one.
JD? Was that me or you?
I ate the hot dog. I thought it was a hot dog. I just ate it.
Oh, that was 100% me.
Yes.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right.
Daisy.
Doesn't matter.
Right.
The real shirt has 63 ticks on that backboard, and this is only going to be available for a limited time only. Word is it's only going to be available for 63 hours. Well, less now. It went up late last night.
Okay.
So you've got a few days to go grab this. Go to nodunks.com or hit that link in the show notes. And shout out to our guys at breakingt.com. We had to have a shirt to celebrate 63 Wedgies. Mm-hmm. I know it's maybe you don't feel like a big deal anymore because they really slowed down in the postseason, but we were cruising there for a while.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
We crushed it, yes. And it is wonderful to see them all together. Our man Esh put a montage together of all 63 that we're going to put up together. That was great. Seeing them in the in-season tournament. Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow,
in the in-season tournament.
Forgot about that thing.
Got that to look forward to as well. A little wedgie supercut coming your way later this week. But let's get into Game 5. Celtics beat the Mavs 106-88 in the NBA Finals there to clinch the series 4-1 and claim a league record 18th NBA championship. Jayson Tatum finished with 31 points, 11 assists, 8 boards. Jaylen Brown, 21 points. Wasn't the most entertaining game in the world, especially the second half, where they built a big lead. Pritchard hits the bomb at the end of the first half. And then you're like, well, this is going to be decided in the first 4, 5, 6 minutes here if Dallas can make a run. They never did. It was basically the exact same score for a majority of it, and it was just like a coronation. It was a celebration as the game sort of ticked on task. But
that's true.
What jumped out to you from, specifically Game 5, and then we can break it all down.
Yeah, it was an odd start, I'd say, for the Boston Celtics. Obviously, yes. It was a coronation, as you said, great word. We celebrated them together, the Jays doing their thing together, but I didn't think it started that well. Congratulations to Jaylen Brown winning the MVP, and I want to say that now because he hates the media, it sure seems. After he said post-game, he said, I don't give a bleep, 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 as he was celebrating there. So I just want to say congrats to him, because at the beginning of this game, I think there was just some nerves, not nerds.
Yeah, there was nerds probably too. No, never mind.
Yeah, they played the fourth quarter for the Celtics.
Yeah. What nerds are we talking about?
McKay, Luke.
Cornette.
Yeah, some nerds.
Yeah,
some nerds. I mean, it was cool to see Payton Pritchard come and play 5 seconds of the first half. He hit a shot. That's what he did. That was his job. So that was pretty cool. But I thought both Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown were taking just too many shots outside of their comfort level at first. Jaylen Brown, his first shot was a 30-footer. What? And then another early one in the shot clock, another 3. He missed his first 4 shots. Jayson Tatum also missed his first 4 shots taking jumpers, but he grabbed Jaylen Brown's missed 4th shot and just went in and drove it in there. And that's when things turned, and we saw at the end of the first quarter when they went on that 9-0 run. Mm-hmm. I know we had a discussion about what constitutes a run in the NBA. I would say 4 possessions where you make baskets consecutively. That's a run.
That's
baby.
a run. Yeah, you're talking about it was a Jaylen Brown dunk, a Sam Hauser 3, a Brown layup, and then that Tatum steal and layup on the other end, and that put them up 28-18 at the end of the first quarter. Yeah,
Holiday created those first 2 baskets, and really from the get-go, he was sort of their guy who was steady because all the attention was going to both the Jays and Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, and Jrue Holiday was the guy setting picks. He was the big man. Shout out to Joe Mazzulla making that move. He was setting picks and was able to get pocket passes and create things and just be pretty steady getting these guys going. As again, I think the Jays were just sort of nervous. This is what happens. It just felt like they were going to come home and win this thing. And that's the downside about blowing out a team like the Dallas Mavericks did in Game 4, because every guy on the Boston Celtics played bad. Sam Hauser was their best shooter. Right. Everybody played bad. So you know what's going to happen? They're going to play a lot better in Game 5. Every single guy ended up being awesome. They responded. Al Horford won the freaking tip. Al Horford out jumping Daniel Gafford to start this game. Those guys obviously were ready. And after the nerves settled, they had the energy to beat. What was disappointing for Luka and Kyrie here, especially. Just disappointing to see Kyrie end his Boston run this way in this series. Just never performed in Boston.
And you said like the Celtics nerves maybe from their star players, and it got him a little while to get going. But at the same time, the Mavericks were not scoring. They started 1 for 9 from the field. Boston was up 9-2, despite, maybe taking some questionable shots, some heat checks and all that. They were finding Jrue Holiday, who was scoring for them, but they couldn't score the Mavericks on the other end. The defense was elite. Like Luka's first minute, Trey, was a rough one, I thought, and sort of set the tone for this game. He had a three-pointer rattle in and out. That thing went ping, 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 piled out. Then he fouled Brown. That's all right, put his hand up, not complaining.
That one's on me.
And then he got his pocket picked by Derrick White. That was in the first minute of the game. And again, they're down and then sort of got into it a little bit until that run at the end of the first quarter. But not a great sign, really, right from the jump in this game for Dallas.
Yeah, the Celtics may have been nervous, but they were also up 10 at the end of the first quarter. It's the first time they've had a lead after the first quarter since Game 1, which was also a blowout win. They've been playing from behind in Games 2, 3, and 4. It worked out because the Celtics are good, but their defense for... We'll talk about the finals MVP, right? Like, it could have been Tatum. It did go to Brown, but really the Celtics defense was the MVP. They allowed 18 points in the first quarter. In the third quarter, when Boston went cold, could not score. They scored 39 total in the second half, and they lost the second half by 3 points. They were shooting 31%, 17% for three, and it didn't matter because Dallas couldn't score as well, and that was the case in the first quarter. The Celtics defense, they're locked in. They know how to play together. They know their game plan, and they have so many guys who can make plays like Jrue Holiday sticking on defense and getting steals. Derrick White blocking a shot with his pinky at the rim. Jaylen Brown was all over Luka Doncic in the first quarter, getting around every single screen. So I thought that, the Celtics may have had closeout game nerves to start this, though that it didn't end up being the case. Tatum had 9 assists in the first half. He had 16 in the first half. Brown had 15. They were completely outplaying Dallas, but their defense was there every single game. Except for Game 4. Yeah,
that was the weird part. And the Celtics smashed Dallas on the glass in this game, 51 boards to 35. They scored more points at the free throw line. They really took care of the ball. I mean, the second half was a bit of a bore. It got a little sloppy from both sides. Obviously, the Mavericks were just starting to gun away as the game went on, as the lead continued to be around 20. But just 7 team turnovers for Boston Tass in a series clinching game that they, that had the big lead and held on to it. That's pretty damn impressive. And a lot of those were coming sort of almost in garbage time a little bit as the game was sort of getting out of control and it was just a party. They really just took care of the ball. That was just a dominant ass-kicking game from them sort of across the board. Their stars played well. Their role players played well. Porzingis obviously returns, gives them a little life. But defensively is why they win this.
Yeah, as you said, 7 turnovers in this game. Jrue Holiday had 5 in the last game. He almost had as many as the team did. And as Joe Mazzulla was asked, listen, you're going to be put into some very, very great coaches conversation after you win this championship. He said, it's not going to happen unless we don't turn the ball over and play defense. And they did that. They were just solid. And I kind of said I didn't know what the role players would do for the Mavs after a great game 4 performance. And they're fine, but it was odd to see Kyrie Irving, the guy who has been here, who has helped win a championship, the only guy that's had this finals experience for Dallas, to be that poor. He only scored 15 on 5 of 16 shooting. In Boston, he scored 12 in Game 1, 16 in Game 2, and then 15 here in Game 5. So he averaged 14 on 34% shooting in Boston. I don't know if it's just that history there, the nerves there. He still doesn't feel comfortable there, but that is just weird to see. They needed him to be damn good because in the end, in this series, Luka averaged 29 points and Kyrie averaged 19.8. they needed something from their top two in all games. And so that was just odd to see that in here, and was obviously the game that they needed to see him do that, because he's better than that.
We also expected a bounce back for the Celtics from three-point range in Game 5, and they did that in the first half, especially, Trey, where, to start the second quarter, you had Hauser hitting again, you had Jaylen Brown, you had Jrue, and then to end that quarter, you had more three-pointers, another Brown, then one from White, then one from Tatum, and then Pritchard, of course, getting the Mike Breen bang in the first half, checking in just solely to fire up a half-court shot, which he had hit one already in this finals, hits it again. They hit 10 three-pointers in the first half. I think they were 10 of 21, 48% from deep, and obviously went into the locker room feeling good. I mean, it was sort of like the game ended there.
Yes,
it did. I mean, again, you're always like, okay, it's a game of runs. If the Mavs can come out invigorated to start the second half, maybe we have a game here.
Like
Never
they did in Game 1.
Yeah, but it legit felt over.
It was over.
When he hit that one especially.
I mean, they were smiling. They were smiling like they had won the championship on that shot, the way they were all celebrating. Pritchard literally standing there saying, once again, this is what I do, because people were a little skeptical that he checked himself in for the one in, what was it, Game 3? I think it was Game 3. Nonetheless, I saw that Jay King asked him about it. He's like, yeah, kind of. Like, I went up to Joe and I reminded him. I'm usually the guy that takes the half-court shots. This time it was no question. He played, 4 seconds in the first half and banged home a 60-footer. That was awesome. A well-earned bang. But yeah, the Celtics, their percentage ended up dropping off because they couldn't shoot in the second half. But I just thought they played incredibly well. And basically everybody on the Celtics had a moment in this game. Jrue Holiday, he was on his Paul Revere. Right place in the right time the entire time. 15 points, 11 rebounds, 4 offensive rebounds. They were just killers every single time. I felt like you thought maybe the Mavs are going to make a little bit of a run here. They're forcing a stop, and then Jrue Holiday comes through with an offensive board, finds Jayson Tatum with a nice lefty dish for a layup. That was cool. Derrick White gets his face smashed and then can't miss a three-pointer afterwards. You got Horford hitting threes, Hauser hitting threes. Porzingis got to have a bit of a Willis Reed moment, coming out there hobbling around but giving the crowd life, getting the huge cheer. Pritchard with his half-court shot. It was like perfect stuff for the Celtics, a team that, maybe they didn't have the best player in this series, but they clearly had the best team, and everybody showed up in the clinching game.
Yeah, it was more fitting that they won in the series clinching game with everybody contributing, besides like maybe Tatum having a monster like 50-plus point game or even Brown, and you're like, oh, wow, like that would have been cool too, but like it was everybody tasks contributing. And man, Jrue Holiday, is there a nickname in here somewhere? The missing piece, the difference maker, like something? Because this guy now has joined 2 teams. I think he's the only player in NBA history to win a championship in his first season with 2 separate franchises when playing like a minimum of 30 minutes per game in the postseason. So like being a contributing player, he did it with the Bucks, and now he does it with the Celtics. And he was awesome, and I know we can get into Al Horford as well, but yeah, thoughts on Jrue, his game and performance in the finals. And like, you were talking him up like, maybe this guy deserves a finals MVP vote. In the end, we'll get into Brown getting 7 of the 11 and the rest going to Tatum. So none for Jrue, but he was awesome.
None for Jrue. Yeah. But as Trey brought up, being on the offensive glass that much, this is your guard here to go double digits on the boards, 15 and 11, and you just look at every single performance from every guy rebounding. That means you want to win. Jaylen Brown had 8, Jayson Tatum had 8, Al Horford had 9, Derrick White had 8, Jrue Holiday had 11, and Joe Mazzulla shortened the bench in this game. He said, Payton Pritchard, you're not coming off the bench until 5 seconds left in the second half.
50-foot shot,
But they went
for one thing.
Yeah, they went tight on the bench to just have Sam Hauser out there and Kristaps Porzingis, who only played 16 minutes. But it was cool for him to end his series here, to get his first ring on the court, rather than just be sitting there on the bench. And I know he was probably asked, after Jrue Holiday to get an interview post-game with Lisa Salters. Like, it was a little bit
Please,
down.
Call her Michelle.
Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a mistake by Wick Grousbeck. The Celtics owner said, Michelle, what? He just started saying Michelle, and he didn't address her properly. I will say, owner speeches usually suck. That one was good. It
was decent.
Usually you get an old white man just saying, like you don't really understand what he says. He just kind of just rumbles and stumbles. Wick Grousbeck was pretty good. He basically gave big props to Joe Mazzulla. Basically the entire team just getting things together. Brad Stevens ain't going to do the interview. because that's what he does. But this whole team just waited and waited and waited for the Jays to get things together. Years and years and years of everybody saying, let's split these guys, let's split these guys. And that's why Jaylen Brown said, I don't give a bleep, 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 bleep about what anybody says. Jayson Tatum here in year 7, Jaylen Brown here in year 8. And as I said, those rebound numbers, these guys were just performing in this one.
It was cool of Missoula to check the guys out because it was such a dominant victory at the end, like in waves. Like I think he did Porzingis there first. Then he did Horford, gave him his moment. Then the Jays came out together, Jayson and Jaylen. And then I believe we even got the guards right at the end. So that was pretty cool, getting the standing ovation from the crowd. That was a really smart move there from Missoula. And then Al Horford. Let's give it up for Big Al and those sexy eyes. This guy finally has a ring. 17 NBA seasons. That was pretty cool. I thought he was maybe the happiest. There was a bunch of relief, it felt like, especially from Jayson Tatum, maybe even Jaylen Brown to some extent. But it was, Al Horford was just, as he should be, over the moon. This guy finally did it. This guy was a champion in college and then had to wait a long time to get that first ring. And he adds it, and, that's going to help his case for a potential Hall of Fame, right? Maybe he's a Hall of Very Good, but, definitely doesn't hurt your case to have that championship ring.
Yeah, I mean, it's been 8 years since he was in Atlanta. It feels like just yesterday I saw him at Whole Foods buying nail vitamins. Now he's got a grown-up kid celebrating a championship with him. What a sultry kiss from Al Horford when he kissed the trophy. They call him up. Michelle calls him up to the Larry O'Brien. And the guy's like, It was a little too sexy. That's exactly what everybody wanted to see.
That's right.
But that was awesome. It was great for him because it's very funny that when you think back, Horford was there at the beginning of the Brown and Tatum era, right? Back when Jaylen Brown had a flat top. You look back like, what? Jayson Tatum couldn't grow a beard yet at this point. Now Horford was there. He had his little hiatus when he was with Philadelphia, got to take a year off with the Thunder, came back to the Celtics and was even better. Could shoot threes, could switch defensively. When they needed him and Porzingis was unavailable, he steps in. They win 10 straight games with him as the starter and go into the NBA Finals and take it home. That's awesome. I think he will be a Hall of Famer. 2 titles in college. He's got one now. A beloved guy. He's going to have good counting stats at the end of his career because he's played for such a long time. And who knows? Yeah. He played well enough in this Finals that it's not like, get him out of here. No. It's not like Mike Miller hitting a bunch of three-pointers, making one with no shoe. You're like, this is the time to retire, man. You're on top of the world, career over. I don't think that's the case at all with Al Horford.
He's getting in, baby. I know he only averaged 13 points per game throughout his career. Seems pretty low when you think about it because the guy can't score. The guy can't put it on the floor as he showed in this game for a center to be able to put it on the floor. But you look at the Hall of Fame and guys that get in. I hate doing this and comparing them to other guys, but listen, Al Horford is better than a lot of those guys, has achieved a lot of those guys. I'm not even going to name the guys who I'm thinking in the back of my head. Al Horford beside this guy, come on. He was great. And as you said, you got there 8 years ago. I was like, are you sure, Al? Are you sure it was 8 years ago? And he said that I told owner Wick Grousbeck, this is what's going to happen. We are going to win on this floor. And they did it 8 years later. And he was super pumped. I've never seen him that excited.
Yeah, that must feel good
in his career. And one cool thing, when Jayson Tatum was asked about Al Horford post-game, because it is odd to see a guy have 2 interviews post-game. It was Jayson Tatum on the floor and then Jayson Tatum with the trophy and everything, and he was asked about Al Horford. He said, that guy's my favorite teammate.
Yeah, that's what basically everybody says. Jrue Holiday says he'd run through a wall for him. It was all about winning Al Horford a championship.
That's true.
Let's get into Jaylen Brown being named the 2024 Bill Russell NBA Finals MVP. He received 7 of the 11 votes. Here they are. Here are the people voting even. And the other 4 went to Jayson Tatum. Trey, were you surprised at all by this decision? Coming off of Tatum's really good series clinching game 5 where he had the more dominant game, but shocked at all, or sort of maybe how you thought it would sort of go?
I think this is the way it should have went. Tatum was the game 5 MVP, I would say. 11 points in the fourth quarter, just kept getting to the rim and, getting fouled. He missed one layup where it seemed like he should have made it and then made 2 crazier ones right after that. He definitely was the guy in game 5, but Brown was the guy throughout the finals, especially considering the defense that he played on Luka and Kyrie Irving. And, I thought Brown was the biggest reason they were up 3-0, which is the biggest reason they had a chance to close it out in game 5 here. But I also do feel like Tatum earned his second place finals MVP vote. He basically took it from Jrue Holiday. Jrue would have finished, if this would have been a 4-game series, Jrue would have finished second in voting, I do believe. So Tatum leapfrogged him a little bit. He had great playmaking, but he shot, like 30% for the series. I think that's probably the big knock on him. But he was awesome in Game 5, scoring in the second half and then 9 assists in the first half. Nothing to sneeze at.
Oh, yeah, and he was blowing by the bigs out there for the Mavs. Maxi Kleba, Lively got by, Gafford got by a lot of those times, just blowing by those guys on the perimeter, attacking and scoring at the rim. And that's like one complaint sometimes you have with teams, like, oh man, you're settling, stop settling. And he didn't in this one. And then you're right, though, about Jaylen Brown's defense. Like, you heard the little mic'd up segments too. Hey, if Luka's out there, don't take me out. I want to keep playing him. And he was just like fighting his ass off, fighting over screens, obviously picking up full court, trying anything to make his life a little more difficult. Luka still gets to his stats, but didn't have a great game by any means, and looked goddamn exhausted by the end of it all. And a lot of that credit has to go to Jaylen Brown.
Sure. Yeah, I don't know if it ended for Luka after that first 3 rattled in and out because he just stopped being able to hit threes. He missed his first 6 threes, and he was just ice cold going 0 for 8 for the game before that. He missed his last 6 threes in Game 3.
24% in the finals from 3.
Yeah. And so that's tough. But I thought you could either go with Jayson Tatum or Jaylen Brown. But the key part was Jaylen Brown doing a good job on Luka, although Tatum did as well. His stats, he did shoot 39% from the floor, 26% from 3. Not sexy, but he scored the most in the end. Kind of surprising, right?
You're talking about Tatum here?
Yes. Yeah. If that's what if I didn't say the name Tatum, that's who it was. Tatum, 39, 26, 22 points, while Jaylen Brown had 20.8 points and shot a little bit better from the floor. Yeah, and obviously our man, Jayson Tatum, was the guy setting things up for Jrue Holiday in this game, who started just going and going and going and going. So, you can vote for whoever you want. It is a team effort. That is obviously key, and that's why they keep these Jays together, because they're 2 freaking stars that you could have either voted for either one, and I was just waiting for the camera to show Jayson Tatum and see if he was happy with Jaylen Brown winning MVP, because that was the big discussion after the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
He smiled. I saw the smile.
He smiled.
He smiled.
He was smiling.
Maybe he knew there was a camera on. They knew that the cameras were on him post game during the celebration. Jrue Holiday threw up a peace sign when he saw himself on camera. Oh yeah, this is me on camera. But they all did it, obviously. Yeah.
Jaylen Brown averaged, like you said, 21 points per game in the finals here, 5.5 boards, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, nearly a block. But Tatum was better statistically when you're doing total points, total boards, total assists. But yeah, I do think Brown was the steadier guy.
And points per game.
Yeah. But I think Brown was sort of the steadier guy. He did made the clutch plays in games that were sort of close to, or in those games earlier in the series. But Tatum became just the 5th player in NBA history to record at least 30 points and 10 assists in a finals clinching win. Walt Frazier, James Worthy, Jordan in 91, and Curry in 2017. And Tatum led the Celtics in points, rebounds, and assists. He's only the 4th player to lead a finals winner in all 3 categories. LeBron did it 4 times, Magic in 87, and then Tim Duncan in 2003. Tatum is the first player to accomplish that feat without winning the finals MVP award, which is a little weird.
Jokic didn't do it last year?
That makes sense that Jokic would have done it.
And maybe Murray caught him an assist because he had 10 assist games
maybe.
in the finals. That's just surprising.
He wasn't on my list here.
Yeah.
I saw, so yeah, probably something like that. But maybe Jokic did the whole postseason, didn't he, with his team? Yeah.
Nonetheless, another takeaway I had from this is that both Tatum and Brown are going to get their numbers retired by the Celtics. Absolutely. So 2 more good numbers going down for anybody who wants to join the Celtics 10 years from now. The Celtics already have 00 retired. Now they're going to have 0 retired. They have numbers 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7 is going to be hanging up there as well.
Damn.
Cedric Maxwell has his jersey retired. That's equivalent to Jaylen Brown winning Finals MVP, getting his jersey up there. Not to mention all the other accolades that Brown has. But yeah, 1 more banner and 2 more numbers going up, and who knows what they'll end up doing with Jrue Holiday and Derrick White and Al Horford in the future.
Yeah, White, we're talking about guys who led their teams in stats. White had the most blocks on this team, tied with Kristaps Porzingis, and Porzingis probably would have had more if he played more, but yeah, a block per game. And as Mike Breen said during this game, or it was J.J. Redick actually who said during this game, when Derrick White, a 6'4 guy, blocked Derek Lively, a 7'1 guy, that was impressive to go out there and block a potential dunk. Yeah, and as we've said, Jayson Tatum was going at Derrick White every single possession that he could. So that was cool. And a guy, he averaged 22, 7 and 7 essentially, or 22, 8 and 7 in the finals. Pretty damn good. Although, I think Jaylen Brown started this series hotter and was a little bit more steady.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I don't know if everybody is a little bit more quick to hand somebody the MVP now, because it feels like that. It feels like, Jaylen Brown's, they're up 2-0. We're giving it to that guy. But obviously, it's different than when Anthony Davis was everybody was saying he was the MVP after 2 games. And then LeBron took it. Jayson Tatum didn't take it the same way as LeBron did. Mm-hmm. This was Jaylen Brown's to lose. That's totally fine. It's cool to see all those voters up there and going 7-4, because that's applicable. I think that's the right number.
Okay, good. You wouldn't have liked it if it was an 11-0 sweep from Jaylen Brown.
I would have hated it.
Okay,
I would have hated it. But Jrue didn't get one. Nobody thought about Jrue.
No.
They probably thought about it.
Thought about it, but
One of the other guys.
these guys are superstars, both of them. The Boston Celtics enter the offseason with some of the shortest sportsbook odds for a repeat title since the Warriors teams of the late 2010s. The Celtics are the clear-cut betting favorites to win the 2025 championship. Boston is plus 310 on BetMGM. I've seen it plus 280 at other spots for next year's title, and that would be the shortest preseason title odds since the 17-18 Warriors, who are like minus 180 favorites. What do you think of the Celtics' chances to repeat next year?
They're good.
You think so, yeah?
Yeah. That's going to be the same team.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is the wild part of this squad. 2 stars, as we just said, that split votes for Finals MVP are entering their prime, which is pretty impressive. Obviously Jaylen Brown's already got the massive contract. That extension will be coming for Jayson Tatum too, who will get even more than his buddy Brown there. And then, Jrue Holiday, he had signed that extension. Porzingis a couple more years. You see Pritchard there. He can come hit some half-court shots still for you. And then Derrick White, he'll have an extension coming up here. And Al Horford's still under here. That's the core. So you're in the Eastern Conference, Trey. Now, we've seen here the last, 6 years, this is not easy to do.
Yeah.
To repeat in the NBA. But what chances do you give Boston to sort of do this again?
I would be curious what their odds are to make it to the finals. Just to make it to the finals, get out of the Eastern Conference. They got to be minus money for that, because they go to the conference finals every year, and now they've got the tude, and people say the pressure's off when you win one. So certainly they're the Eastern Conference favorites, but I'm like, the Nuggets brought everybody back from their championship team last year, except for a couple of guys on the bench. Warriors brought everybody back from their championship team, except for a couple of guys on the bench. Nothing is guaranteed from one season to the next.
Nope.
But the Celtics should be favorites right now. They stomped the league this entire year. They went 80-21 with a historic point differential. They have been one of the best teams that we've ever seen. Say it, even if you don't like it, they have been. They are certainly amongst those teams, but we haven't had a repeat champion in quite some time since we had a literal stacked team in the Warriors way back when.
The only thing they have to worry about is the second apron. As Joel Embiid said, well, look at that salary cap. I don't know if they can do it, which is hilarious. But the other teams have to reach another level in the Eastern Conference. The West is tougher right now, but if you get a healthy Knicks team, because they weren't healthy this postseason, we don't got to go through every entry, but maybe the Knicks get another guy. But Julius Randle, speaking of Knicks, was on the halftime show
and the pregame
and the pregame as well. They just got everybody coming through.
Yeah, these guys want to get some TV time, get some reps in. It's a great job. You got to talk for 45 seconds. Get paid handsomely to do it. Why wouldn't you want to do it? Celtics plus 310 for next year to win. Nuggets plus 750. Mavs plus 950. Thunder plus 950, and then the Bucks and Wolves plus 1,000, and I think then that's followed by the Knicks, the Sixers, and the Clippers around plus 1,600. You said it there, Trey. Best point differential in NBA history when you combine the regular season and the playoffs. The 2024 Celtics have the 5th best one ever. 71 Bucks, 17 Warriors, 96 Bulls, 72 Lakers, and now the 24 Celtics, and they had a game in the finals where they got beat by 38 points.
Yeah, that point differential doesn't look great for the finals.
Sort of hurt them there, but that's pretty impressive. And I loved what Zach Lowe wrote this morning about this team. Quote, Boston's best offensive players are very good defenders. That is rare even among elite teams. The Celtics do not have to compromise on one end to lift the other ever. And he also continued to write, they figured out 5-out basketball like no team has before. They demolished the league and carved out a place in modern basketball history. Tough to argue with in terms of the makeup of their team and how all those guys are above average, if not elite defensive players, but don't hurt you on the other end. You can play them, and you'll never get exposed on either offense or defense. You got to worry about everybody, and you don't have to worry about hiding anybody. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and they didn't have a healthy Kristaps Porzingis for most of this playoff run.
I thought he was going to be the ultimate difference maker. If you do not have him healthy, you cannot win the title. I was dead wrong on that.
It might have been Jrue Holiday is actually that guy.
I guess so.
Yep.
Yeah,
and he signed extended here.
Yeah.
They gave him some dough. So who is it that would be the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference? Is it the Knicks, potentially the Sixers, the Bucks? You do have some faith in the Bucks. Couldn't help but think of Giannis Antetokounmpo winning the title and just sitting on that baseline chair after winning, just soaking it in, sort of like you said about Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They were just kind of overwhelmed. That's exactly what happened to Giannis. Now, Giannis, to get back to the finals, will have to be extremely healthy. He's been banged up every single friggin' postseason. And Damian Lillard is going to have to be a different kind of player, and he's dedicated himself to playing defense, which what the Bucks desperately need. They're a pretty top-heavy team when you think about that team. Like, their top guys are going to have to play extremely well, sort of like the Dallas Mavericks. But maybe they can. And as I said, those other the Knicks and Sixers, they're in the conversation.
They're in the conversation, but I'm with Trey. It feels more likely that it will be a Western Conference champion as the biggest likelihood to knock off this Celtics, prevent them from a repeat. Whoever that is, be it the Thunder taking another step, the Wolves taking another step. And, there's a lot of really good teams in the Western Conference, as we saw. So we will see. Okay, anything else from the actual game here before we get into the silliness of it all?
I don't know if this counts as from the game, but I was laughing that throughout the entire first half, we're getting teased that we got commercial-free crunch time. And then it ended up being a 25-point game.
I had that in my notes as well. It was really weird.
I was like, oh, man, this is going to be awesome to see him sitting in a huddle.
And, every time it happened, Breen, because he's got to read the cue card, is like, commercial-free crunch time brought to you by YouTube TV. And it's like, who cares? I'm like, go to commercial. Give me the no flex zone at this point.
I'm happy they stayed. I've got a video from those random notes later on that we wouldn't have seen if they went to commercial. It was so great to see that. I will say one thing from the game. I kind of wanted Jrue Holiday to have a sexier play, because I do think throughout this series, Jaylen Brown has had the sexier plays. The monster dunk in game 1 and 3, we're having those debates. Which dunk was better from Jaylen Brown? He's had the sexier ones. In this game, I just thought, who cares if he's going to win Finals MVP, but Jrue Holiday has had some awesome plays, just finishing every single time, finishing the pocket passes. But there was one time where he dribbled through a pair of guys at the 3-point line. Like, that looked freaking cool, but then he couldn't finish. That would have been a highlight.
We had a couple highlight that wasn't in this game. We had that Luka pass early in the game where he chucked it over his head. Yeah. Like, it was like falling. He just chucks it over his head to Derrick Jones Jr. in the corner. But he clanked the 3. Nobody could hit a 3 for the Mavericks despite Josh Green. Josh Green was on fire last night from 3, and everybody else on the Mavericks squad could not hit one to save their life.
Right.
And it took even Luka a little while to finally hit a couple there.
Just one random note. Kristaps Porzingis was thrown to the floor by P.J. Washington. They just grabbed him by the shoulders and threw him to the floor, and we had that draft. Who's going to win? Who's going to have the most tech/flagrants? The Celtics are just cool. Jayson Tatum just doesn't get text. Like, they don't get mad. They always walk away from stuff like that, is all I'm saying. Kristaps Porzingis literally could have fought P.J. Washington. He did get in his face a little bit, but P.J. Washington grabbed a 7'3" guy and just threw him to the floor, and Kristaps was, whatever, dude.
Played it cool. How many texts were in this series?
No,
were there any? I don't remember
I
though.
feel like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be the first finals ever. Yeah, I don't really remember any offhand.
There was not a lot of animosity.
No.
Really.
We would have added.
I thought you were going to bring up Doris Burke's pretty damn good call when that happened, when PJ threw Porzingis to the ground. She said if that was Caitlin Clark, it may have sparked a debate for a week.
Yeah, that was good.
Good zinger there
Good
from
line.
Burke. Very, very
Good
funny.
DB.
Let's get into random notes then.
Random.
Let's start with Derrick White doing a Van Vliet impersonation in Game 5 last night. His face bouncing off the parquet floor. We won't show you the clip, Task, because you already watched it too many times. I saw you there on Twitter saying, what are you doing? You put it in the package twice.
Yeah,
His face
weird.
banging off the floor. There's the photo of it, though.
Oh my God.
Holy man, this guy's eating that parquet. And when he eventually popped up, we saw that he had a chipped tooth up front. But he said after, I'd lose all my teeth for a championship. The crowd erupted.
line.
Yeah. But that was, oh, my God.
I heard Celtics fans are calling him the Tooth.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
And the truth. That's good.
That's crazy, though. He's going to have mouth surgery. Like, will he have it before the title?
how
or before
quickly?
the parade?
Whew. Yeah, I know. I don't know.
No way.
I wouldn't think so, but
He
Everybody.
shows up with like a giant...
aren't they like flying today to Miami to party?
Yeah,
all
afternoon
weekend
flight to
long?
Miami. Oh, man, he's got a black eyes. His mouth's going to be crazy sore today. He's having surgery. Porzingis is having surgery. And even Joe Mazzulla is
Zula.
going to have surgery because he tore his meniscus. Doing MMA fighting in March or something like that.
What?
That guy's awesome,
That's
man.
why he was always talking about it. No doubt. Okay, let's go to this moment. I'm sure some of you saw this. I think it was coming back to start the second half. You've seen this guy before, and this guy sitting behind the ESPN crew did not want people getting in front of his way to ruin his camera time. Here it is again. Okay, let's that guy through. Go. Hey, you, no. You stay right there. Hi. And I don't know who this man is. He's always there.
He's always there.
And he's always doing that creepy dead-on smile to the camera. And he was adamant that second guy, or whoever it was not going to get in front of him. Oh.
Yeah. He doesn't do anything looking at the camera.
No, he
Nothing.
just creepily
He's just looked at the
smiles at
camera for years,
Yeah.
just staring at it.
Staring into our souls.
Something.
Very weird, man.
Anyway, what do you got here, Tess? You said you got one that we caught during a commercial-free crunch time moment.
Yeah, well, 2 minutes left. This game is over. They're losing the NBA Finals here, and Luka Doncic wanted a towel. And unfortunately, somebody came in front of the camera that he thought was funny. He's giggling when the finals are done, but he still smiles. Minute 30 left. He wasn't the towel guy. Some guy just passes in front of the camera who is not the towel guy.
But I think he thought he was maybe a towel guy, right? That's why he started chuckling.
Yeah, I think he's chuckling just because he passed in front of the camera.
Oh.
Because, you can't do things like Mike Finley stole a beer from him.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that post game after winning the conference finals. You can't do certain things. So I just thought he thought that was funny. But anyways, it was cool to see Luka smile when this thing was done. But he's still smiling. He's still
The
smiling.
second half was boring as shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It was so boring. Again, after the first couple minutes of the second half, where you're like, okay, does Dallas have a run in them? And then they didn't, because the score was basically identical after the first 6 minutes of the second half, and it was just then we're just waiting, and the game was sloppy, like I said, and then the Mavs just started chucking, and it was just all right. Let's get to it. Like I was praying for a wedgie.
Yeah.
To implement our wedgie rule, and
We're
somebody
done.
hits a second half wedgie, and you're up big. The game's over, but we got there in the end.
Pritchard could have done it, I think. He would have been the guy.
Yeah, bring him in.
Stick a wedgie. Yeah, that's on. I got to end the game right now. Give it to me.
Put me in, Joe.
Yeah, I thought it was nice of the Celtics to let the Mavs cut it to what, like 19 or something like
19,
that.
yeah.
It was close enough that the fans were like, all right, we can cheer a little bit more. This is the last game of the season. We're getting back into it a little bit.
Yeah,
I thought that
maybe
was
it
kind of
maybe
them.
got to 15.
Yeah, maybe.
One
Yeah.
point, because Luka did it a couple threes.
I got 16.
16.
Oh, no. No, I did the math wrong. I thought it was 14, but it was 24. Anyway, this was a spanker.
But it looked like fun in the arena because our guy Chief got on the Jumbotron and he was showing off his No Dunks final shirt from probably 2022. You can see him. He's rocking the big green hat.
There he is.
I do believe that's Happy Wedge behind him.
Nice. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
That's so good.
There he is.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks for the hat. Congratulations to you. Having a great time. They were standing for a long time. The Celtics
crowd was
were.
awesome.
Yeah, they were awesome.
The crowd was really into it.
He gave you a hat. He gave you a similar hat.
I do have two giant green hats.
How did you not wear
in my
one
basement.
today?
I forgot I had it, to be quite honest. I'm not like Chief pulling it out every day, man.
No, I know.
It's a special occasion for me. For him, it's just daily wear.
That's true. It's like a baseball cap.
Yeah.
That's a good point. All right, Chief, good stuff there, getting on the Jumbotron. We have another Canadian champion, Tass. We're up to 10. You know I'm keeping track. I was pumped about this. O'Shea Brissett on the Celtics roster. Didn't see a whole lot of time, of course, in the finals. But, oh, dear Lord, do we need to stand for the anthem here, JD? But there is a list of Canadian champions. And we're on a nice run there with Brissett this year and Murray and then Wiggins before. Chris Boucher winning a couple, which everyone forgets that other one that he was on. So, good stuff there. Thanks to, I guess it was NBA Canada.
Chris Boucher won a championship in 2018?
Yeah, he was on the roster.
It's on the Warriors.
Messed up.
Yeah, I know. That's a weird, strange one.
That's a weird one.
Very, very strange one.
Congrats.
He played one game that season? He played literally 1 minute for the Warriors that season.
You get the ring, baby.
Yeah, like, are they going to give Grant Williams the ring this season?
He was in the locker room afterwards.
Yeah, he was there. He was there last night.
The Celtics locker room?
Yes. Him, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams, I think, showed up.
You know he's trying to get on that flight to Miami. You got room for me, guys. Gotta get in here.
Can Batman come?
Yeah, he played for the Mavericks this season. He can be on any team, though. Also, the first Portuguese player to ever win a championship.
Yes.
Nemias Keita, also on the Boston Celtics.
And first Latvian player in Porzingis, maybe to win a title. I think that's right.
That would be my guess.
I would think so.
Bertans might have gotten one with the Spurtons. Was he around? No, he wasn't around
I don't
back
think so.
then.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's right. I got one more fun little screen grab from the game. Just this fake looking cop sitting behind the Celtics bench. I'm not sure this guy was a real cop.
I don't know. He looks the most like a cop of anyone ever. Literally ever. He
looks like a
Farva.
trooper. Yeah, exactly.
Super Troopers for sure.
Super Trooper Farva there. But,
like a stripper.
Yeah.
Do you think he shaved his face into this perfect cop mustache knowing he was going to be behind the bench, knowing he was going to be on TV?
A little bit. Yeah.
It's too perfect.
Yeah. He's maybe he's in the town. Maybe he's an extra in the town.
Joe hired him. You're my favorite
man,
guy.
you're amazing.
We need you.
And that's really all I have for random notes. I do think the Celtics are headed to Miami here for a few days, and the parade is not until Friday, by all accounts. So it's not happening immediately. Mm-hmm. Friday afternoon, I would guess, in Boston, for a city that doesn't win a lot of championships. Yeah,
I think they got their route planned out. They just need to see if any other of the teams are using it right now.
Yeah.
I don't think they are, but insane amount of confetti last night.
So much.
That was more than ever.
It looked
More
amazing,
than ever,
though.
100%.
It looked so cool.
It looked incredible.
It did.
But it was a huge load for 2 minutes straight.
Oh,
It
yeah.
felt like it was falling.
Oh, yeah.
Every single player had it coated on their arms. Even Wick had it in his hair. The thumbnail on the YouTube, an awesome photo where they just have Lucky's face poking out of it. I thought that looked so cool. I also thought it was funny. They're doing the Celtics championship presentation on the court. They built the big podium, all the risers and stuff, but they weren't let anybody stand on Lucky. They're like, we do not stand on this leprechaun.
Yeah.
Don't touch this man.
Don't touch the
Yeah, good
leprechaun.
call.
Yeah.
But man, the confetti.
Well, that's
so
the
much.
most in NBA history.
What do you think the budget was on that?
Great question. Really good question. I'd say 6 to 7 million. No, I don't.
Paper.
Yeah, I have no idea.
Pieces of confetti.
Yeah,
Maybe.
pieces of confetti. 6 to 7
a
million
lot,
pieces
man.
of confetti. Yeah, that's true. It's just the rafters are packed with them. How do you get that much?
And they really the way they exploded out of those cannons too. Looked cool
they're
as
the
hell.
cannons, yeah.
So I think so. It wasn't dropped from the ceiling. It was more
I'd like to see that one that was
amazing.
caught in Grousbeck's hair, whether it has dye on it, because I think he dyes his hair. He's like one of those hair dyers that you don't dye like your gray sideburns or like just the bottom, just so it looks kind of real. Because there was another owner there. Actually, Wick Grousbeck's looks fine, but there was another owner there, minority owner, hair dyed for sure. He was on there. Adam Silver did a great job of thanking each one of them. Wick, Bob, I'm not sure what their names were, but he thanked each one of them one by one. Where's Brad?
Brad, good job.
Good stuff, Brad.
Just don't mess up their names. Speaking
exactly
from experience.
Right.
That's why I was like rolling my eyes when the owner screwed up Lisa Salter's name. It's like, oh, heaven forbid. I called Dan Gilbert Dave Gilbert on live television once and never heard the end of it from the higher-ups. But you can just call a woman a completely different name. Lisa's not even similar to Michelle at all.
Even close.
You thought it was
David
Michelle
Dan.
Tafoya, I guess.
Maybe.
They're not the same person.
It was weird.
all.
He said Michelle very confidently, too.
Michelle Beadle? She hasn't been doing sidelines?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just Michelle mode. All right, Chief is saying they were just shoveling confetti into those super strong fans. They're just recycling it, chuck it in there, keep it going. Smart.
Wow. What a job that would be.
Pick it up, throw it in there.
That's cool.
I also saw reports that like media and staff members from the Celtics were playing pickup late into the night.
I did see that.
Oh, wow.
On the confetti.
That's awesome.
Well, that's dangerous.
Seems very dangerous.
Seems very dangerous. Yeah, Jaylen Brown apparently came out and watched them for a little bit.
Hey, you're hooping. That's beautiful.
Maybe he had a vote for the Finals MVP in the game.
They should have given him a vote. The only vote.
Who's it go to? The kid? All right, let's get to tweet of the night.
Tweet of the night. Wow.
Simple tweet of the night comes to us from @ButterflyAma, AMA. On Twitter, congratulations on your team's win, Donnie Wahlberg. I know you're on cloud 9. The expressions of happiness and excitement on your face is priceless. It's exactly how we all feel when we get to see you. Congratulations to Donnie Wahlberg celebrating confetti time. Literally looks like he won the championship. He got marked seats for this game.
Yeah, he did.
He was sitting on the sideline and he brought Joey McIntyre with him.
Wow.
I was so happy to see this guy. A lot of people call him the original Justin Timberlake. He used to wear a top hat with the top cut out of it.
Yeah.
What a crazy look.
Yeah. I went to a New Kids on the Block themed birthday party when I was really young.
Was it mine?
No, it wasn't yours.
I absolutely had one. I was wearing a Donnie Wahlberg homeboy t-shirt.
Oh, nice. I think mine was Blair Smythe's. I think Blair had it. His dad's name is Con Smythe.
No way.
His dad's name is Con Smythe. I worked for him. Yeah, it's the best. Awesome dude, too.
That's cool, man. The New Kids.
So this is a New Kids fan, this Butterfly AMA.
I mean, I would have to assume so.
Yeah. It looks like it. Her header is a very old photo of the New Kids on the Block. And my God, they look rough.
By old, you mean they are old.
Yes, they are. They are very old in this that I'm looking at.
Is Kevin on the right? Wow, that doesn't look like Kevin.
No, that's Jordan.
No, Jordan's in the middle.
Jordan's in the middle. Yeah. Jonathan is his name.
Jonathan, my bad. I got an NSYNC mix up.
Jordan and Jonathan, they were brothers, right? I believe they were. The Knight brothers, then you got Danny Wood.
He looks
Danny Wood.
crazy.
Yeah. And then Donnie and Joey, of course. Hanging tough.
Yeah, nice.
Celtics have the right stuff.
Looking tough. No, looking rough.
Whoa. It's the summer of the New Kids. Bring them back.
All right.
Damn, quit playing those games. Don't cut up the boys. They're hot. They're hot right now. Donnie, why didn't Mark get on? Where was Mark?
Where was Mark? He don't care.
I don't know.
He ain't a real fan like Donnie.
Nope.
I'll tell you that.
Bill Simmons was there with Dr. Dad. They were there.
Dr. Dad.
He's seen a lot. I was listening to another podcast this morning. His dad has seen, I think he said now, 7 Celtics championships. And man, it is tough when you hear them like, it's been 16 long years since we've won one.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I want to flip a table when I hear that. And my franchise, our franchise has won at least in the last 5 years, but there are a lot of other franchises that have sniffed one.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. They're blessed.
Yeah, and Mike Breen said that earlier, that this could be their first win here on the floor for It's the first time since 16 years ago.
Yeah, 2008.
It's like, come on.
Oh, the same day, too. How about
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
June 17th, 617. That's the area code. Do we have any reports from your brother-in-law in the arena last night? Is he still partying? Did he jump on top of? Did he climb a tree?
I haven't heard anything from this morning.
jump
He wasn't
on top of a
texting
cruiser?
very much last night. I don't know why. He did send a picture of his dog celebrating. And he sent a picture of all of the confetti.
Nice.
Very confetti-y. I told him to try and grab some.
Yeah.
I don't know if he did.
There's enough.
Yeah.
All right. There's tweet of the night. There's the recap of Game 5 of the NBA Finals. Congrats to the Beantown boys on another championship. That's another NBA season in the books for us. That's our 19th season of podcasting. Starting in the 05-06 season was our first season. Just to put that in perspective, Chris Paul was Rookie of the Year
Whoa.
Good
when
year.
we started doing this.
Darren Williams couldn't do it.
That's right. So
Is he the leader now in games played without...
oh, look at this. There's our guy, Ash. Celebrating. Congrats to him. Congrats to Trey's brother-in-law. Congrats to Mike Zakarian. Congrats to Bill and his Dr. Dad.
Sheev.
Tandyman Sheev.
The kid.
The kid, yes. Jared Weiss.
What about our man Marty?
Marty? Yep, Marty Outlaw.
Marty Outlaw, he's the coffee roaster.
Oh, that's
He's a
bean
Beantown
roaster.
boy.
He
Bean
is.
boy.
Yeah.
He's a legit
Bean
Beantown
boy from Beantown.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Congratulations. Yeah. But we really appreciate everyone joining us all season long. We'll be back later this week, probably on Thursday. We'll do the Drop podcast a day earlier. Any sort of finals hangover and any other NBA news going on? What are you laughing about?
My dad just texted me.
Yeah.
He said brother-in-law. It's my stepbrother.
Oh, sorry. Gee, I'm
Hey, thanks for watching, Dad. My dad's a Celtics fan now, apparently.
Jeez. Sorry, Steve. Technicalities. Nice fact checking there. Maybe we just make Steve a permanent fact checker.
He needs a job.
Like, hey, Steve. Hey, Steve, is Porzingis the first Latvian player to win an NBA title?
Yeah,
Let's go.
check
Get
it out,
on that.
man. He texted me at
Yes.
9:58. He said, no dunks on it, too. I said, check your stats, bro. We're on at 10 a.m. We're like 10:04.
Yeah, well, yeah, today was like 10:08, but that's okay. All right. So anyway, 19 seasons of podcasting about this incredible sport. We thank everybody for joining us on YouTube. Hit the like button, subscribe, podcast listeners, 5-star ratings and review. And again, we're back later this week on Thursday, so join us then. Hit that notification button so you know when we're going live. And oh yeah, we got a live show in Vegas. It's less than a month away. It's July 12th. And it's at Level Up in the MGM Grand. 4 p.m. Free show. Come on out, Steve. All right?
Whoa, man. I wonder if my dad's ever stepped foot in Vegas.
You don't know?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
Off the top of my head. But, there's a lot of things I don't know about my dad. I saw him wear a hat recently.
Right.
He just went over to my sister's for Father's Day, and he was wearing a shirt I've never seen him wear before.
Jeez.
Things have changed, man. He's watching podcasts on YouTube now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right. So we'll see you guys later this week. Until then, Clipper Bros.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thanks for joining us, and remember, got a couple facts here. Yes, Kristaps Porzingis, first Latvian to ever win an NBA title. Also, most playoff games without an NBA title. It's Carl.
Yeah, it's still Carl.
Carl Malone. Sorry, Carl, you don't get it.
Current player, though, James Harden.
James?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was Harden, not Chris Paul. That's
Yeah,
right.
he's
That's
got
right.
160-something.
166.
Yeah.
Chris Paul, 149.
Yep.
Kyle Korver just couldn't get one. Oh, God.
And one last fact, my dad has been in Vegas.
Thanks, Dad.
Brace the day, people.